think we are, in the grand scheme of things, in terms of the fiscal position of the country? We've spent an awful lot of money during this pandemic. We've got a 200 billion, 300 billion pound budget deficit from year to year. We've got national debt is almost 100% of GDP. Should we be concerned?
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge challenge ahead, but this is like wartime spending. So the money allocated so far as a result of COVID is £370 billion, spent about 261 billion. Just to put that in context, the annual budget for the NHS in normal times, so outside of COVID, is around 150 billion.
Wow.
So
we've done two NHSs on top of the existing NHS.
Yeah, and then we added about £60 billion into the NHS to deal with COVID, and then of course we're going to have a national insurance levy coming in to help with some of the catch-up. So, you know, but even if you add in all the extra stuff that's gone into the NHS, the COVID bill dwarfs it enormously.
Now, I try and follow the PAC's reports very closely. I know you had a report on school catch-up. You've had another one, I think, one upcoming on pension payments as well. How important is it when the PAC issues a report within the House of Commons? It's debated on the floor of the House. How impactful can they be?
Well, the crucial thing is that we have in front of us not the politicians, but the men and women who are responsible for actually managing our money, taxpayers' money, every day. They have to be accountable to us for it, and they have to respond to every recommendation in our report. So we don't just produce a report and sort of produce a headline or come and talk to you about it. The government has to say yes, they agree with our recommendation, or no, they don't. And what we're really clear that we think is important is when they say no or we don't agree with their response, we'll very often call them back. We've got the Home Office coming in a few weeks' time. We've already had them already. We've got the Department for Communities and Local Government, or whatever it's called now, the Michael Gove Department, the one that deals with housing and things, coming in, and we're going to be challenging them on issues that we've talked to them about in the past, where perhaps we're either not happy with their response or we feel they haven't dealt with it as with the urgency that the taxpayer investment deserves.
Now, you are, of course, a Labour MP, and you're here at Labour Conference. It's your conference. You absolutely want, despite your cross-party duties, you absolutely want the Labour Party to get into power. What do you think of the announcements that we've had so far? I personally think that announcement yesterday on business rates was a very, very important announcement. I think my fellow journalists in the press have this morning underplayed that announcement. Do you think it's a very significant announcement?
Absolutely. And when we think about all the MPs of all parties know what the impact is on businesses, on business rates, and the Public Accounts Committee, particularly under my predecessor Margaret Hodge, really started the work on the inequity of business rates and the taxes that business pay on the high street compared with the taxes of companies that have no high street presence.
It's worth